This is Pastor Troy right here. Get ready for what we call something incredible. It's called the Best of Season 3. Our executive producer, Donna Kranuski's gone in the files. She's dug around, looked at your comments, and she's picked the best of Season 3 to throw back at you. So over the next few weeks, get ready. It's coming up right now. The first of, the second of, and a whole season of nothing but the best of Season 3. Get ready as that episode rolls now, and don't worry. We'll have new Season 4 episodes coming at you very soon. Be praying for us. We'll see you soon. I'm Pastor Troy. You've been on the dock. Now get ready for Season 3 Best of. And I'm Pastor Troy right here on the doc.org. Every Tuesday and Thursday, dropping new episodes. We want to help you get ready to go. Check this out on the doc.org. There's our information right there. Tuesday and Thursdays, go find us. We're all about episodes to get you out of the shallows and into the deep. We're going to get your faith out there. Don't you love that song by Otis Redding? 2 minutes and 36 seconds. My favorite song in the world secularly. And it's all about getting out there. So we want to get out there today and do that. We've got a great show for you. Go find us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Those are our primary sources. YouTube's a video. Spotify and iTunes, also audio. Check it out. We're also on Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and SermonNet. And you can find our archives on YouTube and SermonNet as well. Other of those, go back and watch our previous shows. We are in Season 3. There's 2 more seasons. Go watch them all. You're going to enjoy it. We'd love to hear from you today. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter. Those are our social media platforms. 5 places where you can enter into conversation with us. We'd love to have it. When you find us, hit subscribe, like, notify, make comments, harass your friends, bombard their emails with links to our shows, do all kinds of things up to the point that they might just almost unfriend you. Don't do that. But all right, Patreon, go to Patreon, help us out. Patreon's our support system. This show is not free. We need your help. You can be a partner with us in 4 different ways. Download the Patreon app on your phone, on your Apple or iPhone, and find On the Dock with Pastor Troy. There's 4 levels of partnership. Check out what that means to be a partner of the show. And there's 3 ways you can sponsor. If you have a Christian business, an organization, a church, and you want to be a sponsor of the show, we have 3 levels. And there's different things we'll do with you and partner with you through the show to help make that a good decision for your business or organization. Also, we're partnering now in this Season 3 with our new and first affiliate partner. We got other affiliates coming down the line, but it's slnt.com, promo code OTD. If you go to that site and you take a look at their stuff and you put in promo code OTD, you get our discounts, some shipping deals, and you can also go directly to our page at www.slnt.com/discount/OTD. We'll tell you more about that at the end of this broadcast. And right here on my set, my phone is in the Faraday bag. You've been listening to our shows. You know why we need this in here, because Google and China and several other countries are listening right now, but they can't hear me. They heard us, and that's how we found SLNT. Google told them what we were doing in here on a closed set studio, and they contacted us. And, well, not anymore. Go to SLT, find out about that. Go to onthedoc.org. You can go to our website to find out all our links to all our platforms, find out more about Patreon, this, and get there. If you got questions, if I've just confused you, email us at info@onthedoc.org. A more rational person, Donna Kranuski, our executive producer, will help you sort this out. She's much more reasonable. She was a stunt double in here for Mother Beth just a few minutes ago. Mother Beth was out doing her coffee and tea service for our guests who are great friends of ours. I'm Pastor Troy. I'm your handsome host. You notice in that shot, I'm not wearing black there either. So I guess I could start wearing some other stuff. Beth says it makes my eyes blue. Got Mother Beth with us in her summer hair. On the clip's got her summer hair, but she's wearing winter hair. And
it's the same hair. It's just because I've been outside So it makes it lighter.
Yeah.
I don't do anything different.
Yeah, she puts it in. Donna Kranuski's over there on our tech booth today. She has no microphone because you have not become a partner through Patreon and given us enough money to buy her a microphone yet. So we are working on that. If you will go be our sponsor or partner today or go to SLT, buy some of those Fair Day products, we will take that money and we will hashtag bring Donna back. We will get her back. We're going to get a microphone in here. We're in a special
I'll let
series.
Donna come over here.
Donna did. She sat in with you.
I know she can come over now.
Yesterday we were shooting, and my thing here was clipping Beth's face, and it didn't bother me. I hadn't noticed it yet, but then Beth griped at me.
No, it didn't bother
Yeah,
me.
you griped it, but you.
No,
you
it was Donna. Donna said, I can't see Beth.
I understand that, but then you said something about it. When you say it didn't bother me, it's a lie from the pit of.
Not in this case. It wasn't.
Yeah, and then what the problem is, I'm OCD, so once I notice it, it's over with. And
That's the problem.
So Beth slipped out of here. Donna came and got the seat, and her and I kind of worked these arms around until we were good. Changed the camera angle, and we think we can see Beth today. You can see clear today. We're here in a spotlight. We're doing all season 3. We're doing both the Building a Stronger Church series, but we're also doing a series of other special shows. But we're also doing another big super series called Taking It to the Street Spotlight. We're spotlighting businesses, organizations, and people that I think can really change your life that are in our region, and they're people doing unique things, and we want to talk to them, and we want to get their information to you. And I've got with us in studio today one of my special guests, very special friend, Karen Paubel from Highland, Illinois. I cannot believe this. I'm stunned. She drug her husband here, and look, Kerry Paubel. I got his picture up, but he's actually on set right now. So I've got Karen and Kerry Paubel. Kerry, in this picture here on the screen, you have not got a damaged head. Your head is normal, and it's not normal. You're losing all your hair, and we understand that. Yeah, that's normal. But on this one, you got looks like a frying pan indention mark that you're covering up.
Right.
So is that what it took for Karen to get you down here? He drove down from Highland, Illinois. It's snow and icy. She said, you got to go where? Yeah. There's no easy way to get here from Highland. You have to go like an L. There's no direct path. It's all bad. So I've got Karen and Kerry Paubel here on the set. Karen is very special. Kerry's just kind of special to me. He's just kind of semi-special. Yeah. But the more you hear Karen today, you're going to find out how really he is special. All of you, of course, know Beth's the real special person, right? Everybody knows that in our church. It's like the man behind the woman. Beth's the woman behind the man. So, guys, glad to have you on set. Karen, welcome to On the Dock. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, we made you nervous yet?
No, you
just relax. See me kicking back. I've done the introductions. I can relax now. All my work's over till I got to close. Even Donna over there's got her fingers clasped and she's relaxing. She can answer plumbing calls or whatever emergency's going on. Everybody, her husband runs a plumbing business, and right now, I mean, everything's exploding. It's like grenades. Yeah. We know you run it. We have no clue. Rick is just the plumbing monkey.
He's the labor.
Yeah, he's the labor. Yeah, we have no doubt about that. Donna, no doubt about that. She's managing everything. You go here, be here. She's the head coach. I understand that. Kerry, welcome to On the Dock. Glad to have you here.
Thanks.
Sorry for the forced labor that you were forced to drive down here. Glad to have you here. He had a beautiful. He's got his hat on the table. Looks great. We make him put these headphones on so he can actually hear me. But you're doing well. Glad to have you both here. Let me give a little bit of introduction to them, and I'm going to let them give you their background. But Karen and I have known each other. Karen, when did we meet? Was it 19? Y'all were there at the very beginning, right?
Yes,
yeah, 95. Was it like 95?
The first service of Christmas.
Was it 94?
No, it was around November, December 95.
Yeah, okay, that's right. It's November 95. We did some meetings in September 95. We did the park stuff, and then we started right there toward the beginning of Advent. We started right at the beginning of Advent. When I was a pastor in the Methodist Church, my calling was always to go out and plant churches. I went to seminary to be a church planter, came back, spent a year in Alany, training under another pastor, Dr. Bruce Owens, who had a degree in church development. I irritated enough people around there with my work on under 40 people, and I'd expected to come back from seminary to go directly to plant a church. I'd actually expected to plant a church 4 miles from here in Craneville. I had a plan. I had a program. I'd been promised that would happen, but there was politics in the Methodist Church. Surprise. And my superintendent failed. The one that was here, he got outvoted, and they sent me elsewhere because they didn't want to give in to his will. Had nothing to do about me. It was just they didn't want to let him win. And people like me, actually. So at that time, they liked me. They know me
At that time.
At that time, they liked me. I was a fair child. And they sent me to Alany, and they kind of sent me there because they said, well, this guy will help him. We'll get him ready for this, and we'll deal with Roderick, and we'll check him, and then we'll send him where we want to start a church when he's ready. So I got there for a year. I really excelled. The pastor there said, you need to be planting a church. You're well equipped, and I'm going to give you everybody under 40. Here's what I'm going to do. Everybody under the age of 40, you're going to be their pastor in this church. You're going to run all programs. He says, I said, what do you got for him? He says, nothing. He had no decent nursery. He had no children's church. He had nothing. Over the course of a year, we took in about 150. He said, if you bring them in, you take them in. If you lead them to Christ, you baptize them. At the end of a year, we had taken in about 150 new people into that church. The church was packed. And it was all people under 40. Beth and the team had helped start a children's church. We'd redone the nursery. We were doing a singles group and a young adult group and youth group and everything else. And the church was exploding. My next door neighbor church was Shane Bishop at Sumner, Beulah. Him and his wife, Melissa Bishop, lifelong friends of ours. Our best man and our team that got us married. We would not be married if Melissa hadn't hooked us up in our first blind date experience. So Beth and Melissa grew up together. So we were pastoring just a few miles from Shane and Melissa, our dear friends. My brother in the Lord, his dad's my spiritual mentor. Shane's my brother in the Lord that led me to Christ. And we wouldn't be there without them. What's funny is we went to seminary right before that, and we pastored the same church as they pastored. So they'd only been back from seminary for 2 years when we got there. They were exploding their church. It was a little country church, and it was growing. We got there, and things were going. And people were asking, why do we need our senior pastor? Everybody coming in the church is Troy's. They kept saying, well, let's get rid of Bruce. We need Troy. I thought, oh, man, it's not what I want.
That's
no,
never good.
It's never a good
not
thing. The good thing was I didn't go to any meetings, no trustees, no pastor pairs. I didn't go to any junk stuff because he said, I'll take care of all that. You just do fun ministry. We're getting you trained. And so Bruce let me just go do ministry. It was so fun. I didn't have to do all that United Methodist stuff. I just dealt with people, and we led so many people to Christ, had so much fun, had a great experience, but it began to cause a little bit of problems. And Melissa Bishop was friends with John Hannibal, the superintendent up there, said, you guys are stupid. You need to let Troy go start that church. And are you going to end up taking that church over? You're going to have more problems. It's not fair to Bruce, not fair to Troy. And John Hannibal called me in and said, Melissa convinced me you need to go start a church. And so they said, we're not going to let you go to Craneville because we're still mad a year later at Roderick, but there's a place called Highland, Illinois. Would you go look at it? They're saying people over there want a church. We think you could do it. So I went with Shane. We drove over, looked over your town, Highland. We drove all over, spent the day there. Driving back, Shane and I talked about the possibilities were really cool. And we even talked about that I really believe that town could use the hope that we could bring. And Highland Hope was birthed on that drive home. The name was birthed. Wow. And the vision was birthed. And we went back, and I took the Craneville, Illinois, which is a little town right outside of Carterville. It's between here and Carterville and the Crossroads. A little nothing. It's a little something. I took the proposal written for them with their demographics and changed every word from Craneville to Highland. I changed nothing on the demographics. They're not their demographics, but they were close enough. The same kind of up and coming. I resubmitted to the cabinet, and they approved the exact same thing. The cabinet called me and said, we're going to let you go and do that. We're excited about that. So Hannibal called me in and said, I want to send you there. And I said, I won't go. He said, you won't go? I said, Dr. Roger McLean sent me to seminary 3 years ago, believing me to come back. I wrote the proposal for him, put it through, and you guys, he was African-American, he's from Guyana. I said, you guys have done him wrong, and he wants the best for me and all this stuff. And he's told me to go, but I don't think it's fair. It's his plan, and you guys are this is a game. And I said, I'm not going to go till somebody calls him and apologizes to him and asks him, is it okay? So John Hannibal said, are you kidding? I said, no, I'm not kidding. I said, I'm not starting this vision that's mine, but I partnered with him without him releasing me. And so he got on the phone and called Roderick. And Roderick said, my brother, my battles are my battles. Your calling is your calling. I want you to go and do your very best there. You're released. And he released me to go, and I went to Highland. So I wouldn't go until I could do it right. I wanted to be free to go, and he blessed me. And Roderick's been my fan to this day. You know, I don't believe you climb over the back of others to go places. I believe you do things the right way.
Yeah, and he was a big part of helping you plan that.
He loved me. He helped me work through it, and later on he gave us he left the conference here and worked for the Global Board of Ministries in Mission Education. Ended up giving us a big grant to do a study that helped us start our next church, and he's been our friend for a long time. So Karen, we met you guys when we came over there on a vision and a call to start a church, and you guys were one of those first families who were a part of our church. So tell us a little bit about how you got to Highland. Give us a little bit about your background, and we want to hear from both of you on that, how you were raised. We want to get into your background because each of you have different backgrounds, and then you guys kind of merged, and you guys, I will say this up front. The first show here is going to be, we're going to get a little bit about their background, a little bit about their history, because Karen is a weird critter. I'm just telling you. And Kerry's a weird critter too. And when you put two weird critters together, what you get is an extraordinary critter. And they have an amazing family. So we're going to talk about them and their family here. But in the second show, we're going to delve into what I think her greatest value is, and that has been being an advocate for me before the Lord for a long time, and other leaders in ministry. You do not want to miss this, because if you're a pastor, if you're in ministry out there, if you are somebody that's a prayer warrior out there, you listen. I want you to hear about where they came from, because you need to hear the foundation of it. And then when we get done with that, listen, I want to explain to you that sometimes it's the people you never see that are the most critical people in your life in doing ministry. And you may be somebody out there that thinks, I've got a call to pray. I really have that gift of intercession. Hey, Lucas, come on in, buddy. I have that. I told him, and we introduced you that Lucas might show up. So we were hoping that, yeah. When you're in ministry, there's people out there that have a critical ability to pray and a critical ability to, a gifted ability to intercede and hear from God. And you don't think you're being used. She's going to show you how you can be so effective that you can change lives, just not here. I think through Karen, lives are being changed around the globe every day. So you've been absolutely, let me say this to you, Karen, and Kerry, through y'all's work, you've been an absolute extension of everything Beth and I've done since I met you. So everything we've done, everything I've done is an extension of what Shane did and Melissa did in planting seeds in us, and what Fred has done in planting in me. But when I met you at Highland, that's been added to that. So there's nobody that I've served or pastored or led or will lead that you aren't an impact player in that game. So you've been a most valuable person in my life and my team. So I'm excited about that. Tell us a little bit about, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? And then we'll get to Kerry next.
Well, I grew up Catholic. And
you grew up Roman Catholic?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I knew that.
So I went to Catholic grade school, and my dad was a prayer warrior. His mom.
Where at?
St. Anne in St. Louis, right by the airport.
In St. Louis. You're a St. Louis Catholic. Okay.
Yes. And so.
Staunch St. Louis Catholic.
And my dad's mom died when he was 13, and he left home, and he was a prayer warrior. And my dad, we prayed, and he always read the Bible and impacted my faith.
So
you know what? I don't think I knew. I
didn't know that either.
That
so your prayer roots come from your dad's side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my grandma, and I have such a heart for healing and praying for healing.
You do, absolutely.
Ministry. My grandma, I was probably like 10 or 11, and she had cancer. They told her to go home. Breast cancer spread all over her body. Told her to go home. My dad prayed for her. There was glowing light over her. She went home, but nobody had the courage to tell her she was going to die, and she was terminal. And he prayed for her, and 12 years later, she died of a heart attack. And so I cannot get off of healing and just believing. And just my father would always, every morning he'd read the Bible. It wasn't really a home that we were more, with the Catholic, the training in the faith. And, we went to church every day of our lives and in the Catholic grade school. But his impact that Bible was important, that he would be reading it every morning. So he really had the impact of and when I was in second grade, this is how I became a prayer warrior. When I was in second grade, there was a nun who was like, you can talk to God. I was married too, but you can call on heaven and you get answers. And I'm looking around like, I love free. I'm a resources person. And I'm like, what don't you guys understand about that? She turned my life of prayer, and I'd pray and God would give me things. I'm thinking, what don't you guys get? The creator of heaven, we can get things. And she just turned me on. Then when I think 8th grade, instead of the catechism, the principal of the school was my teacher, and she gave us the 4 Gospels.
Wow.
And it just changed my life. And I would my mom made sure I got a Catholic Bible, that I didn't get the real one or what.
So you grew up in a Catholic church that last night I was in Bible study, and we have somebody pretty new to their faith. They've been in the Christ about a year now. I see them growing. They were asking the growing questions. And last night we came back from our 4-week break, and she asked she asked that next level question. She says, what the Pope's done recently with blessing same-sex marriages and this stuff and this. Pastor, according to what I'm reading, what I'm understanding, that's apostate. That's against the Bible itself. That's going to cause a real problem in the church. And I said, you would think so, wouldn't you? You hope so, right? She said, that's a problem, isn't it? I said, well, and they kiss his ring. I said, well, he's the vicar of Christ, means he's the representative of Christ. But what do you think? Do you think he's representing him right now? And she said, no, he's not. I said, I said, I want everybody here to understand the Catholic Church is in trouble, but the Methodist Church is in trouble. This church there's churches all over the world through times and ages have been in trouble, but there are people in the pews of the Catholic Church that are deeply devoted. Donnie, you grew up Catholic, didn't you? Yeah. My mom was Catholic. I went to Catholic college. There are people in the recesses of the Methodist pews that don't know about the fight, that don't know about the disobedience. There's a little old lady that's been there the whole time in the little town. They're not affected by it. And they just got their head down and they're praying in faith. They're reading the Bible in faith. And they just don't even know that the Pope's done this or the bishop's done that. And you're an example that you cannot throw out the whole baby with the bathwater. You got to take a look at the people. A nun changed your life.
Yeah.
Somebody in doing what she was devoted to doing. And you're saying your dad was a deep reader of the Bible. See, a lot of people think Catholics, they don't read the Bible.
When I was 21, I did a Renew program at the Catholic Faith and taught salvation. And it was part of more the charismatic renewal. And
now was your Catholic community part of the charismatic Catholic community in the St. Louis area?
There was a little sect in the regular church.
Okay, what people don't know is inside the Catholic Church there is a more spirit-filled dynamic version of that. And it's all over. You can find it across the world in certain orders and certain groups and certain people and movements. But there's some very heavy versions of it in the St. Louis area. So the charismatic Catholic community was very strong when I started in faith in the Catholic community. So you're saying at least the influence of that and the movement of that had significant impact on your family as well.
I got radically saved. I mean,
Wow.
went to the Bible. I went to church every morning with my Bible. You don't take your Bible to church. You don't. I still had a calling to pray for priests and just people in ministry and very close, connections with the ministers there, the pastors. But they stopped teaching it because people got saved and left the church, and they went to just more teaching catechism. But Kerry grew up United Methodist, United Church of Christ. I'm sorry, United Church of Christ. He has a Methodist background, but and so I was ready to leave the Catholic Church, and we were dating, and we were looking, together to find a church, and so. Well,
let's hear about your background. Where did you grow up, and tell us a little bit about your background.
I grew up in St. Louis, a little community called Jennings, which is pretty close to actually the community where Karen grew up. Also close to the Ferguson riots, which most people know about. But,
yeah.
So I grew up there, and Karen was talking about the church she went to, and it just kind of reminded me that I went to the United Church of Christ there. It's called Faith Salem. And when we were really young, my dad used to drive us to church, but for the longest time, probably the most of what I remember is my dad was working, and my mom would march us to church every Sunday, and it was about a mile from where we lived, so we walked a mile to church and back every Sunday.
Well, we tell that's like something you hear your grandparents say. We walked a mile both ways uphill in the snow, barefooted to church. You really did. You really did. People had a commitment. Can you imagine today if we told all of our people that they had to walk to church? We'd have our family here and the Jacksons. They would get here. My goodness, your family would have to start a week ahead of time because they live out in the boondocks. But I mean, we would have a handful of people here. It would the Jewish community, some of the more traditional Jewish communities, they walk to they live in their communities where their churches and they walk and stuff. So this is not unheard of. This is something that you guys did. And it took a commitment to do that.
Yeah, we only had one car, and my dad worked on Sunday, so that's what we did. And most people only have one car.
Right.
Not like today.
Right, not like today.
No.
Way too many. But
so you had to have faith to even get started with faith.
Yeah.
Back in those days, you had to have a commitment that was deep like that. That's fantastic. So,
right.
So what led you? Where did you find Karen?
Well, this is probably after high school, I would think. And my best friend was getting his hair cut from her sister.
Oh.
and I said, man, looks like she does a good job. Can I go there? So he tells me where she's at, and I'm getting my hair cut there. And it was maybe, a year or so later, a couple of years maybe, not quite sure. But anyway, her sister has cut my hair and says, hey, my sister needs a date for a wedding.
So it took over a year of haircutting to vet you out?
Yes.
That's a good sister. And she milked you out of about a year's of haircuts.
Right,
That was good.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So she set you guys up on a date?
Yeah, she set us up, and I
Had you seen him? Did he give you? Nobody had a camera in those days, so they couldn't like snap a shot. Did your sister say he's decent looking, or he's got a divot in his head, or you need to feel bad for him? He didn't have that then.
My best friend was getting married at 19, and I was an old maid, so I had to have a date. And so we just needed a date. We needed a good-looking guy to be on my arms. It was
So you're that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go. I want to hear about this, Kerry. So, Kerry, she's getting this information. We'll have to find out later what Melissa was telling you about it. Gosh, Melissa, we were set up.
Your dad was a brain surgeon.
Yeah, she got the surgery.
That's all I remember.
She got the wrong part of the surgery. But Beth, Melissa fixed us up on the date, same kind of way. Go ahead, tell me how it happened. So, did you bite on it? Did you go?
Yeah. Well, normally, you don't like those blind dates, but
is her sister ugly?
no, her sister's beautiful.
No.
So you knew you had a chance.
Yeah,
you had a good chance. Okay, good.
If she's even close to her sister, wow.
You think great? This is great, right.
This could work.
You go like, oh no! If the sister's like, if your barber lady's like snaggletooth and looking rough, you're like, I think I'm going to be a monk, But you didn't. You buckled.
Yeah, and so I just said, well, I called her up and I thought, well, I just don't want to go to a wedding. I kind of want to know her a little bit. So
We did the same thing.
Did you?
We were supposed to go on a date, and I went over and met her ahead of time. We talked. I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to show up at some event and just try to go, hey, how's it going?
I know. That's how I was.
I gave her a chance to see me at her. I went by her place ahead of time and introduced myself formally to her. And I wanted to give her a chance to say, well, I got to wash my hair. Look at that fat slob.
Came by my work.
I came by her workplace. I was over there on a business call. I thought, I'm going to pop in and see her. And, if she doesn't like me, she can get out of it. And if she's got like horns or something, I can run. So, so you kind of had a little bit of a pre-connection.
Yeah. And so I took her out, and I think we had some iced tea, which I spilled on her. Did I?
He spilled the iced tea on you? Do you remember that?
It was a terrible date. Yeah. I just asked where he worked, and he was like, I work in a building. Like I was trying to be gold digging, like trying to find out like how much money he had. And I thought, oh, this is gonna be a long date. And then he told me nobody tells him.
First of all, he took you out for iced tea.
Iced tea.
That's number one. That tells
At
you
McDonald's.
He's either poor, cheap, or going to be rich.
The latter.
I'm none of those. I'm neither poor nor rich nor cheap, and that keeps me pretty much in between poverty and that. But so you took her out for tea. That was a good move. You kind of avoided any questions and all that stuff. That's good. So tell me what happened.
So I thought we had a good time.
Oh,
Karen said we didn't.
She did. Our first date, to be honest with you, we went on another date, but it was fine. I didn't have a bad time. She was a country mouse and I was a city mouse.
I thought he was nuts.
Nuts.
I just said this. My words were, this will never work out because he just moves too fast.
Well,
and I would never be able to keep up with him.
Listen,
that is exactly what I said. This will never.
Listen, I've never done this on the dock, but listen here. This is you heifer. I don't understand that. Now I call her that. I only call my loving wife that because the Bible says, Samson says.
That's okay. I call him heifer.
If you hadn't been messing with my heifer, I wouldn't be burning your fields down right now. So I figure the Bible says it is okay. So I had no idea that. Why in the world did we go out again? I can't remember.
I think you were just being nice.
Okay, good.
You were just being nice.
I am so glad I was nice in those days. See, you're Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, get it.
We had a good time.
Social media. You can be writing down. Did he call her a heifer? Yeah. You got it to work. Hey, good job. She got the lower thirds working. So and there they go. They phase right out. That's great. Did Lucas fix that? Yes. The head guy was in. He's out. We're all there. Did he solve the camera problem? We don't know. Okay. Okay. But
No, I think we had a good time on our first date. The second date was
did,
the one.
Well, no, we did have a decent time. Enough to
Because
say
we went bowling, we
Yeah.
stayed busy. It was fun.
you-
And Shane and Melissa were
you
with
brought
us.
you brought your daughter on the next date.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked her better. The second date was worse. It was worse. It was worse. So go ahead.
We had a little bit of a second date too. She bought a new Camaro. It was a 1982.
Oh.
and that got you.
Yeah, I said, "Hey, take me for a ride in that thing."
Man.
And
Well,
because
that had hooked me in. Though.
yeah, so
We got sound effects now.
yeah, so I had a Pinto. So
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
She's good looking.
Yeah.
Her sister cut your hair. She's cheap enough to be happy with a date with T.
yeah.
And what's funny is she's on the set right now, and that's what she's got. T. I mean, she's an inexpensive guest to us, so I appreciate that.
So this brand new Camaro breaks down
Brand new.
on a ride, right?
Golly.
So somehow we got it to the Chevrolet. We had to go to the wedding in my Pinto.
Oh my God! Did she
Which
get in the
she-
car with you?
She did.
Well, she was liking you because I wouldn't have gotten in the
yeah.
car with you. I'd have Ubered.
So,
there was no
yeah.
Uber in those days, though.
Yeah,
No Uber. So
You went to the wedding. Did you have fun?
yeah. And I'll tell you the most interesting part of this wedding. We're sitting there, and I don't know who this gal comes up. This gal must have been one of Karen's friends. Comes up. This is my kind of like the first date,
Yeah.
yeah, T doesn't count.
and she says, "Hey, when are you guys getting married?"
Yeah.
It was
This
just,
is on your second date?
yeah.
Really?
I was like shocked. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
did you really ask that? So I just took a couple of seconds. I said, "In 4 years,
You did. Did you wait 4 years?
8."
Oh.
OCD times 2. Right there. That's Kerry. That would fit. That
That's
would,
it.
Here's what's funny, Kerry. This is what's funny about this is our second date went bad. And then there was something magical that happened right at the end of it when she followed me down the stairs and cast a spell on me in the name of Jesus. The Lord told her, and I fell in love with her like on the spot at the very end of the date when I thought the date was over and I was away. I was down the steps like, this is over. And I turned around and she came out the porch door and the door slammed and I turned around and I saw Christ in her. Fell in love with her just instantly. When I walked back in, my friend Shane knew I had been a little bit of a horse's butt and really played with. I bowled more with Heather that day than I kind of hung out with her and connected more. And he said, I told him in the day, he said, this is not going anywhere.
No, we just didn't click.
And Shane said, that's fine. He said, I already told Melissa to butt out. He can tell her that, but Melissa does not listen to anybody telling her to butt out.
No.
Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Somebody's got to have willpower in that family. But literally, she came down, that door slammed. I turned around and fell in love with her. And I walked into Shane's office the next morning about 8:30. We had a coffee scheduled together. And I said, I'm going to marry this girl.
Oh, wow.
On my second date. And he looked at me like, are you crazy? You were a butthole last night. You know what I mean? I'm bottom hole. I'm not allowed to say that word. So that's why I got hit. You guys see, you probably didn't get that on camera. Did you have the right camera? Did it show it?
I have the wide shot.
Wide shot. That could be used in a court of law. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway. So it's kind of weird. The connection's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting that gal asked that.
8
Never
years.
had that
You
happen.
hung out with him for 8 years.
Yeah, and my mom would tell me, she said, well, I heard on talk radio, if you date somebody more than 2 years, they're not going to marry you. And I was like, nobody else is asking.
I'm just trying to figure out why you didn't kick him to the curb and move on. You're good looking. You got a sister out there shilling for you. You've got a Camaro. He's got a Pinto. Now, I want to ask one question. We'll get into some depths of where you guys got the Highland and stuff, because I think the background here is important because I'm learning things really good. Did the Pinto I know the Pinto's smaller and cozier than a Camaro. Mm-hmm. Did you break your car on purpose so you could ride in his Pinto? We want a declaration now. Did you do something to the alternator cap or did you sabotage?
You don't buy a car that year.
I had a nice white stripe on that Pinto. That's why.
I thought we could break news here when Karen would say, it wasn't broke, I sabotaged. Don't want to ride in his Pinto. That's like.
No, but I think I never was looking for somebody for money, but I wanted somebody with a passion for life. And we went to the zoo before the wedding. I think we went to the zoo, and I was like, he was talking about starting businesses, and different things, and I was like, this guy's marriage material. This guy's like got his head on his shoulder. So
you got,
it was better.
He pulled you in with that deal with a glass of tea. So you guys got married, I guess, eventually. Yeah. Where'd you go to school? Did you go to college and school?
Yeah, I went to Jennings High School, which I grew up there, and I went to University of Missouri St. Louis, which is in St. Louis.
That's
so I stayed home, commuted to school, and
what'd you end up doing?
I graduated in accounting, and took a bit, but I did finally get a job in accounting. I worked on a truck dock part time, and
this is a guy that got away with a T on his first date. He probably expensed it. Don't you know he probably expensed it? He's an accountant. Yeah, we got a few books. I was an economics and finance guy. We just go supply and demand.
Yeah,
we work off the curve and the big picture,
yeah.
And then you got these accountant guys. I went to school with nothing but accountants and nothing but econ finance people. And the econ finance people are like, I think we can do it. And the accountant guy says, no, we can't do it. So no, the curve will come. The money, it's all about cash. So we don't have any cash. Cash going to come in. The accountant's like, you're broke. So you know what I'm talking about? That's the difference, isn't it? Right.
Yep.
Right. So you're in accounting. You worked your way up. You got in accounting. And what are you doing today?
Retired.
How old are you?
Just turned 67.
That's what happens when you buy tea on your first date. I just want to say you take care of business. Karen, what are you doing today? Are you retired?
Retired. Yeah, I pray.
You pray all day. You got married somewhere in there. I'm going to show this picture. I'm going to see if let me see which picture I'm going to show. Gosh, I don't know what to show. I'm going to do this one first because this is not, gosh, I don't have the right one I want to show. This is, gosh, look at the right side here. Okay, here you go. The right side would be, this is after I met the Paubels more in, what year was it we met? What was it? It would be
Sierra was born 2000.
2000. It would be 2000. So some of them were born while we were there. So you got to take 5 years off all these kids. That's when I met them, Donna. It's 5 years off the kids on the right. But when I was going to, when we were leaving, I guess we'd probably been in Pawnee by then. Yeah, because we were in Pawnee till 10. So halfway into my Pawnee, this is 2 church starts later. This is their family. This is kind of the family we know, we grew up with. Now, I know their family today because, we've spent time over the years with them. But the left is how old's that picture? That picture's a little old too, isn't it? Because, Karen, the left picture.
This fall.
Alex?
That this fall?
Yeah.
Was that this fall?
This was.
Yeah,
this
look at
fall.
this beautiful family they've got.
I
That's this
know.
fall.
That's a
Isn't that
great
amazing? This is what I want you to hear. This is an amazing family. This is like Noah's Ark family. It's a huge family. For you don't know this, Karen, but there's a family called the Burketts in our church. Rick and Amanda.
Does know this. She's heard about.
Yeah,
this
I
a
told you
lot.
recently about this. But for the entire first 2 years, almost every time I would speak to Amanda, I would start with the word Karen. Karen. Oh yeah. And we always tell them that they're like you guys here. We've been blessed. They're just a loving family. They serve and they're faithful and they know the Lord and they got a family of gold like you guys got. And we've watched them grow from little to just incredible. Every one of their kids, college educated, brilliant, genius, getting their masters and doctors and too smart. Every one of their kids. If we could have gotten y'all's families together 20 years ago, we could have kind of crushed them all over and we could have bred a whole new species of child for this world. I just want you to.
They were all homeschooled. They were all going to college.
All
at
homeschooled.
16.
They by the time they would get to college here at SIU, they weren't going to UMSL, but by the time they were getting to SIU, they had already they were coming in as juniors. They'd done so much pre-work,
Right.
Their dad works for Johnny Logan Junior College, so they were so far through. They're just brilliant. They're the finest family I've ever met outside your family. It's just too amazing. I thought it was, you would think normally when a family shows up and they have their own minibus van, that was y'all. Y'all the first family I knew that bought a cargo van, like a family van for your family. But when we got here, they had one. And that's what they had, the same thing, the big white panel van with all the seats in it, and it's just amazing. I want Karen and Kerry to tell you how they got together. We're going to wrap up this segment in just a few minutes here because I just wanted you to get to know them because we're going to transition in the next episode. It's going to get powerful here. But your family, I consider to be an amazing family. They're a representation of both of you guys' commitment to excellence, commitment to the Lord, commitment to prayer in the Bible. I think I now know that some family roots there and are in there. Tell us about your family and what they're doing today, and let people get an appreciation for that's been a blessing, but it's been a battle.
Well, and you finally got married. Did you know ahead of time that you were going to have that many kids?
12,000 children.
Had you talked about that ahead of time? Or
I did tell Karen ahead of time I want 7 kids, and she claims that I didn't do that.
No, he would say, I thought he was joking. He'd say he wants 7 children. And I said,
He's like a Catholic boy.
I said, I'll give you 4. We'll negotiate the 5th, and you'll have to find another woman for the other 2. And then, so I thought he was joking. We went to pre-marriage counseling. You know, the invitations for the wedding were out, and he's like, I'm serious. And I was like, I thought you were joking. And after 4 or 5, it didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Let me explain. Let me explain to you something about accountants. Okay, accountants are big into what they call footnotes under their reports. There's little footnotes they put, so they do their stuff and they go down and they put these footnotes. So when the auditors come, they can see that there's these footnotes and exceptions and things like that. Somewhere when you were having that tea, and maybe when you were in the bathroom and getting a refill, he put a footnote in there and you missed it. The footnote is, I want 7, and you just didn't see it. They're in the small print. You know.
And I want to tell you the story of Dan's first time coming. Should I wait?
Dan is the pastor that followed up behind me at Highland.
Because you
Hope.
put me in the prayer ministry. Yeah. And so Dan was preaching, and I had Sierra. So you baptized Sierra, our fourth child. And I was like, I'm done. I gave away my maternity clothes and everything. And it was getting up at 4 a.m. And Dan was preaching about prayer, and I was pretty prideful. Like
she cut it off at 4, like she said.
I went home that night. I was sassy to God, and I'm like, if you want to wake me up at 4 a.m, you wake me up. And Sierra woke up nurse. It wasn't 3:59. It wasn't 4. It was exactly 4. And I go on we just throw the kids all on a mattress on the floor. I went there and knelt down, opened Oswald Chambers, and I said, God, why would you wake me up and to know me? And during that time, God kept saying, I kept seeing myself, is there anything out of your will? And I saw me giving birth. And I was like, no, that's not.
No, God, you got the wrong number. You reached the wrong number.
So about 2 weeks, I kept saying that. And then finally I told Kerry, and he said, Karen, it's 3 more boys. And I was just like, no way, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so I finally, a Saturday night, I prayed, and I was just one. And I prayed, and I said, God, I'm willing to have more. If you would, you're going to have to give me help. And Jackie Schumacher, that next morning, who just started coming to Highland Hope, she said, God told me I'm supposed to be helping you. And when I had Alex, and she just moved in with us, and she helped me. And I mean, so much of where the kids in their faith was at foundation of Highland Hope. Yeah. I mean, we had 16 years there that they were grounded under you and under Dan. And it was, I'm so grateful that you were chosen to come here. I didn't know that story, that you were supposed to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I was always supposed to come here. I'm pastoring in the community where I should have been planting a church all along. So God sent me there just so we could get connected, because I couldn't do what I do without you guys. We're going to wrap up this episode because we're going to tell more. I'm going to get more into your family. Don't worry. But I want you to hear where you guys came from. And these guys came into helped us start Highland Hope, the first church I planted. It was an accident we went there. It's not an accident did you start right in prayer ministry? You didn't start initially.
No,
I moved you. You did
the
other
women's
things.
ministry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, she came into me one day and said, "I'm not doing very good at this." I remember that, right? Yeah, you was like, "I'm struggling with this." And
remember Sunday? It was a Sunday morning, and somebody wanted to kill themselves, and they called me, and I said, "Well, now's not a good time. I'm getting the kids ready for church."
Right.
Now's the time.
Yeah. I said,
I think you came to me one day and said, "Can we be friends?" Or it was something like that.
The pray and play we did.
Yeah.
We did the pray and play.
I was, oh yeah, of course. Melissa did that to me in 6th grade. She just comes up to me one day and she says, "Can we be friends?" And I said, "Sure."
Give me friends. So the pray and play, the less of the women's ministry and more of the pray really kind of got you cranking. And I could see in her life, she had prayer issues. She was always lifting up things in prayer. And so that's when I asked her if she would lead my prayer ministry. And I'll be honest with you. I had been through Methodist churches. Prayer ministry, I had been a part of 10 Brave Christians. We'd done the prayer thing when Shane was my associate pastor when I got saved and all that. I had seen prayer a part of No Greater Love Ministries, but I had never really been a part of a church in the Methodist system where prayer was a piece of the system. Prayer was something you did on the side. You did before the meal. You did the beginning of the service. The pastor did the pastor's prayer, and it was a long prayer, and you slept during that. And prayer was an accoutrement. And I was realizing early on in my study of church development that every successful church had a purposeful prayer team behind the scenes.
That's your doctorate, right?
And I learned that deeper in my doctorate when I did my Spectrum 2000 thing. I learned that the key to every successful church is mission, anointing, and prayer. That was the map to a successful church. You have to have a clear mission that you understand, you can follow. You have to have anointing to do that mission, because it may not be, if you're not called to be there, you can't push in it. So it has to be a mission, an anointing to it, and then it has to be covered and grounded and rooted in prayer. And that prayer cannot just, it's got to start in the pastor's life. It's got to be in the pastor's family's life. But when you're out fighting Goliath, you can't be praying. You're slinging and killing. You're going to have people behind the scenes. That's the people behind you that have your back in prayer and that are fighting actually devils you don't even see coming at you. They're almost holding shields for you, and you're focused on Goliath, and there's 12 other things being hurled at you. There's people undermining your ministry. There's people trying to attack your character. There's this and that, and a powerful prayer warrior will call on the power of God and remind God. And they will call those powerful warring angels to be around you. And Karen was called to that kind of ministry, both for the church and intercession and for pastors. And we're going to talk about that specifically in part 2. And I've entitled part 2, Prayer Covering for Pastors and Servants of the Gospel, which is when Karen moved to prayer, she moved from you did adequate job with women's ministry, really. For any Methodist church, it would have worked, but not.
Oh, we had a great time.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
But
I remember going to your house the first time with the women.
It's like Kerry.
Your fancy teacups and everything. I was so impressed.
Kerry had this dream for 7 kids and more in his life. I had a dream to do more than Highland Hope. I wanted to do greater things. And I had learned that prayer was essential. And when you said, I feel called to do that, I said, I think you need to do that. I think that was a moment where we were both transcended to a different opportunity. And so we're going to talk about this. And I want to tell you, if you don't get anything in this series, come back in the second series, because the second part of the series, because if you are a pastor or minister of the gospel, or if you're somebody that's called to prayer, or you're good at interceding and you have a hunger for the Bible and devotion, and God gets you up and God speaks things to you, not just for yourself, but for other people, you're going to learn a lot about that. I'm going to give you some keys. She's going to give you some keys. And we're also going to talk about, you're going to hear from her, but you're going to hear from me on why her. There are a lot of people that have tried to be my prayer intercessors through the generations. I have cut some people off. I have chopped people off at their legs. I have disarmed people. I have fired prayer warriors. I have never fired Karen. Matter of fact, there were years I didn't hear from Karen for years, and she'd call me just out of the blue and just clean my clock. And she never said anything to me that God had not already told me, here it comes. And then it would be you. Come back in part 2, prayer covering for pastors and servants of the gospel, and it'll be a blessing to you beyond all blessings. On the doc.org, check out all of our episodes. Go back and watch season 1 and 2 and find out more about us. info@onthedoc.org. You can email us, and you can go to YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes to check us out. Check those out. All those ways. And we'd love to hear from you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter, our social media partners right there. And hit subscribe, like, notify, comment, tell other people about the show, bug them, say you got to go watch Karen and Kerry. See what Karen did to Kerry's head. Go watch the episode, find out about more of our stuff. We are so excited about that. And finally, we would love to have you as a Patreon partner or sponsor so we could get some more mics and get Donna back on the set. She just has a camera today, no mic, but if you help us out, 4 levels of partnership, 3 levels of sponsorship. Go download Patreon app and find out how you can be a part of this show in many ways. And also, slnt.com is our new affiliate partner for the first time ever. We got others coming. Use promo code OTD or go to our page, slnt.com/discount/OTD. Check out these Faraday bag things. Your key fob gives out a thing. You put your key fob in the small version of this. People can come up to your house, to your porch, steal your key fob signal from outside your window, take your car. They can steal your RFIDs on your credit cards. You can put your RFD holder. There's a place here to put your credit cards. So they cannot skim those off either. And they've got bags and all kinds of things. You're traveling to an airport. If you've got critical information. Kerry was an accountant. You know, you could have critical information, data information on that. You may have research information that's critical. I had a guy tell me the other day he worked for a seed company, and their seeds are product, and they get all kinds of stuff, and they had to encrypt their passwords and change their passwords every 30 minutes because of the protection. And he said, I wish I had this Faraday bag product back then, because there's corporate espionage is a real thing. And then there's just whole global espionage. Go check this out. Get your Faraday bag product that fits you. There's all kinds of different products. Check those out. And if you don't have a church home, we'd love to have you at Community Faith Church. If you're in Southern Illinois, COFTV.com. You guys are living up in Highland, but you watch us regularly, don't you?
Right.
Yeah, you're on the church. You go everywhere. You go over to Shane's Church, Christ Church, which has been on the show here. Then you come back and watch us, and you watch about 12 different things. You're in church all the time, and now we know why. You grew up in a church. You grew up in a house and went to church every day. It's easy for you to do that. If you don't have a place, we'd love to have you. COFTV.com. We broadcast, but if you're in this area, come find us. If not in your area, find a church that's godly, preaching the word of God. If you can't find one, reach out to us. We'll help you find one in that region. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm Pastor Troy with Mother Beth. Been good, Mother?
Yeah.
We'll be back in part 2 here real quick. And as we go out on this show and as I sign off and we get ready for part 2, we're going to run a commercial before you see the ending credits on SLNT so you can find out more about this amazing product. We'll see you back real soon for the next part of this. Go watch our previous episodes and stay with us. We'll see you back soon. I'm Pastor Troy, and get ready to get out there and get out of the shallows and into the deep. Here we go. We'll see you soon.
There are more than 8 billion phones in the world. The fact that threatens your privacy, security, and health. With Silent Pocket Faraday protection, you can regain control over your mobile devices. We get it. Privacy and security are inconvenient topics. And you may feel like you have nothing to hide, but the fact is that in the modern world, your laptop is never really off. Your phone emits a signal, even in airplane mode. And everything from your passport to your credit cards contains RFID, and all of it contains valuable private information that is easily exploited in the wrong hands. Silent Pocket offers a range of products you already use: wallets, bags, travel gear, laptop sleeves, key cases, but with the added protection of our patented Faraday technology, which turns your devices invisible and safe from the outside world. Many industries, from top business professionals to government officials, require the use of Faraday products for the day-to-day security of them and their staff. They understand that we are constantly at risk and take the necessary steps to prevent future attacks. We offer this elite technology to anyone that values their personal data, and we are proud to offer a premium range that fits seamlessly into your everyday life, providing security without looking like a tinfoil hat. As we learn to live with technology, Silent Pocket stands on the 3 pillars of privacy, security, and health. Our goal is to provide harmony with mobile technology without risking our most valuable information. We hope you'll trust us to help you do the same.